AMP2.TV presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Hi, welcome to You and Your Doctor, living a healthy and longer life. That's what we're all about, how to teach you different understandings of your health and what's available to you out there. So we're being produced by AMP2 TV, and we're proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where patients are the heart of their business. And I have to tell you, talk about patients. You know, when we need somebody to help us after we are rehabbing at home, it's so important to have patience, to be able to listen to the client and find out what their needs are. And All County Healthcare are such professionals in that arena. You know, if you ever have any questions, just give them a call at 888-717-7170. Ask for Maddie. She would love to help you. Absolutely love it. Well, we are streaming live on Facebook, All County Healthcare Facebook page. So you get to watch us. So welcome. Again, that telephone number for Maddie is 888-717-7170. And you'll also be able to find us on wwnnradio.com. And all you have to do is hit the button that says live stream, and you'll get us live as well. Plus, we're on 1470 AM. And we also have some really exciting news. Tonight, we are on 95.3 FM, and this is absolutely wonderful. We're so excited to welcome our listeners on our FM station. And the other thing, too, is that just in case you've missed our show, our live show tonight, you can also tune in on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. because we will be playing this show once more. So again, thank you so much, All County Healthcare, for sponsoring this show, You and Your Doctor. It's so important. And, you know, listeners, if you want to call in, please give us a call at 888-565-1470. We would love to hear any of your questions that you might have. Tonight, we have an orthopedic specialist here. He is one of the best in pain management. His name is Dr. Gary Richman, and we are thrilled to have him here this evening. So welcome, Dr. Richman. It is wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, by all means. Tell us a little bit about what got you into practice, what your passion was.
My career, my background is that I'm both an anesthesiologist as well as an interventional pain medicine specialist. I practice at the Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County. We have offices in Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, and Wellington. And my specialty basically is trying to treat the root of pain. Being in an orthopedic practice, most of the patients that I see have neck and back pain, but there are a variety of sources for pain, and we try to tackle the source and get that under control so that we're not dependent on just masking it.
Yeah, oh, that's wonderful. Because, pain can happen anywhere in the body. So does your clinic also work with the ankles, the knees, the joints, that kind of thing as well?
Well, we're a full-service orthopedic practice. We have subspecialists, orthopedic subspecialists, for every orthopedic subspecialty. Hands, elbows and shoulders, sports medicine, spine surgery, foot and ankle surgery, general orthopedics. And that's one of the beauties of me being able to practice at the Orthopedic Center is that when there are specific orthopedic needs, I have one of my partners right there to jump in and help the patient. And if it's pain management, they can do the same with walking the patient right over to see me as well.
Oh, that is wonderful. So I like that. It kind of sounds like it's an all-service type of practice, that it really targets each and every area. And how many doctors do you have there?
We have 15 physicians in the practice.
Wow.
And we've been around for 65 years, so something's working.
You don't look 65.
No, I haven't been there all 65 years.
Oh, that's wonderful. So where did you do your schooling?
Well, how much time do you have? No.
No, that long of a list, huh?
I went to medical school at the University of Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
And did residencies in both internal medicine and pediatrics. And then decided to change gears a little bit. Did my anesthesia training at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philadelphia.
Oh, wonderful.
And I've been down here in Florida since 1995.
Wow. So you have been here just a little while. Now, did you start with them right from the very beginning, or had you kind of made your transition into this particular practice?
I transitioned into the orthopedics, and I've been in Palm Beach County since 2000.
Oh, okay.
And I was the chief of anesthesia and was practicing pain management at the Bethesda Outpatient Surgical Center. And as the pain practice grew, reached a point where I joined the Orthopedic Center in 2008, and that's where I've been since.
Excellent, excellent. So, audience, in case you'd like to call in, the telephone number here is 888-565-1470. I'm Lorena Anderson. Just give us a buzz, and we would love to answer any of your questions that you might have. Because, you know, pain can be so debilitating. And especially, you know, the older that you get, I've heard many excuses. Oh, well, it's just your age, and you're just going to have to live with it. And I've got to tell you, there's nothing that takes your energy away, makes you feel as if, you know, old. You know,
Absolutely.
you don't feel youthful when you're in
can't escape
pain.
it. When you have chronic pain, whatever the source is, it's with you 24/7. And the two most common, what we call comorbidities, additional problems that develop in patients that have chronic pain is difficulty sleeping, so sleep disturbance.
Oh.
And the other thing is depression.
Oh, yeah?
When you can't escape it. And look, when you're sleep deprived and you don't see things in a positive light, everything feels and seems worse. So this is all part of what I do in treating pain management. Not only is my job to identify the source of your pain and try to treat the source, not just pain is a symptom. Pain is never the primary problem. It's what we're trying to get rid of by identifying the source of the pain, treating the source, and then everything else falls in line. While we're doing that, it's very easy to feel like you're never going to get any relief when you can't sleep, you can't be rested, and you're seeing the glass is half empty.
Well, not only that, but if you're not getting any sleep, then the body is not healing itself either. It doesn't have any capacity to be able to heal itself.
Absolutely.
And I also know the psychological impact of that. You know, you're talking about depression. Well, it is also so debilitating for that individual because you're right. There's like no light of day. There's no excitement. You're not looking forward to life.
Right.
Because it's just too difficult.
For some people, it means that you lose your independence. You can't drive with confidence anymore. It means that you can't go and do the things that you normally like to do, and that leads to being dependent on others. And so often, especially here in South Florida with our senior population, a lot of times they don't have family around, they're dependent on friends and relatives, not relatives, but neighbors.
Right.
And that all adds into the whole picture.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. And, you know, the other thing, too, that I find is that, you know, you can have pain, okay, and the pain is someplace in the body, but then you go up into your head and you suffer.
Absolutely.
And that's the other psychological piece of it, is that you're suffering because all you can think about is the pain.
Your pain it defines you.
Yes.
It's what you focus on from the minute you get up in the morning until the minute you try to lay down at night. And then when you're struggling even more to get to sleep, it's
trying
this
to find
vicious
a comfortable
cycle.
place.
Absolutely. If we can break that cycle, it can make a world of difference.
So describe for us what you end up doing in order to really get underneath the symptom of the pain. What is it that you specifically do? What kind of treatments do you do?
It starts with interviewing the patient, examining them, and listening to what they're describing. Not all pain feels the same to the patient. Not all pain comes from a single source. In my case, I see a lot of patients with neck and back pain. Not all neck and back pain was created equal. It doesn't all come from, oh, I've got a herniated disc, it's pinching the nerve, and I've got pain going down my leg. There can be muscle pain. There can be what's called facet pain, more of an arthritis or an inflammation of certain joints in the spine. It can be pain coming from the discs themselves that are inflamed. It can be a herniated disc pinching a nerve. If you don't listen to the patient and try to sort out how they describe their pain, and that gives you clues on where to look.
Yeah.
So if we can identify the source, then our treatment plan is specific to the source of their pain, not just, oh, you've got pain, take a pain pill. That's not the direction we want to go in.
No. And not only that, the other thing, too, is that a lot of times it's not the primary pain that they're feeling. It could be a secondary pain. So say that something's wrong in their neck, but their neck's not hurting, something in their back is hurting because it's connected.
You know what? There are so many... That's a whole... We could spend an hour just talking about that. Sometimes there's a problem in one part of the body, and the patient will feel it's more of an emotional connection, emotional problem.
Yeah.
There's also something called referred pain.
Right.
For example,
Right.
people that have a problem in their pelvis can have pain in their shoulders.
Yeah.
People that have a problem in their neck can have what's called radicular pain. It can be radiating to the shoulder, the elbows, the hands, down the arms. And same thing with the back, radiating down to the legs. So a patient oftentimes, and this happens at the orthopedic center all the time, they'll come in and they'll say, oh, my shoulder is killing me. They'll go to see a shoulder orthopedist. Shoulder seems fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with their shoulder.
You know, one of my partners understands what's going on and says, we should look at your neck. They look at the neck and they go, look at these x-rays. You know, let's get you to Dr. Richman. Or vice versa. I may have somebody that comes to me and says, oh, I think I've got a problem in my neck and it's going to my shoulder and down my arm. And I say, hey, your neck looks fine. Let's go look at the shoulder. Let's look at the elbow. Let's look at the hand. And it's something that an orthopedist is better suited to treat than I am. And that's one of the advantages to our practice.
That's so wonderful. Yes, because not only do you have such professionals there and experts in the field, but you can also begin to identify exactly where the pain is coming.
Absolutely.
You know, and what's causing the pain.
What I do doesn't cure anything necessarily, but we also don't want to mask anything. We're looking to identify the source, treat the source, and then the problem, whether it's headaches, pain, muscle spasm, those things will fall in line when we successfully treat the source of the problem.
Wow.
That's what this is all about. Finding the source, treating it, and not just masking it with some pills.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. That's wonderful. And, you know, the other thing that I really do enjoy, I'm seeing a whole new element in doctors these days. And this element is, I want to listen. I want to know. I care about you. I mean, amazing bedside manners. And I am loving the fact that more and more doctors are starting to really wake up to the fact that you know, it's so imperative. These patients, they just want to be heard sometimes, and sometimes it's even psychosomatic.
Oh, I'm a social outing for some of my patients. This is, you know, this is their therapy.
Yes.
No, but you're right. You know, if you are in pain and you're going to see your doctor, whether it's your primary care physician, an orthopedist, an interventional pain specialist like myself, whoever it is, if walking in that room or having that physician walk in the room, you tense up and you are walking on eggshells because of an awkwardness in the ability to communicate, that's not helping your situation. You need to be able to say everything that you feel, not feel as though you have to watch your words. And my job isn't to judge. My job isn't to say, just get to the point.
Yeah.
You have 4 minutes.
I eat 5.
Yeah, that's not a slow day. But the point is, you should be able to communicate with your physician. And if you listen to your patients and you examine them, put your hands on them, examine them. Don't just sit at a computer. You will learn so much more about how you can help them.
And you know something, you bring up such a valid point. Putting hands on the patient.
The lost art of actual physical diagnosis.
Absolutely. And not only that, but so many people are so touch deprived anyhow. You know, they don't have their family around. They don't have friends around. They're not getting that essential touch that makes them feel warm and comforted. So that's very important.
That comfort can come from just the general interaction within the room. I mean, it's real important that you connect with your patients, listen to them. Sometimes their problems are not physical.
I know.
And sometimes I have to point that out, let them know that that's my opinion, and in a respectful way recommend that they see someone for psychological support. Very rarely do I see someone where a psychological professional needs to replace my care in total, but oftentimes we need that to help support the other sources of their pain, because chronic pain is very difficult to live with.
Oh, it is. It's impossible. I personally know, because my mom has been dealing with chronic pain for almost 25 years. She was in a car accident, and it's just been devastating on her. And you're right. There's no end to it.
Patients with chronic pain desperately want to turn back the hands of time and to come up with a permanent solution.
Yeah.
Our understanding isn't strong enough, in depth enough. We don't have all of the tools to be able to do that. So we have to support our patients in many different ways, because we can't turn back the hands of time.
Right.
And I don't have a crystal ball to predict the future.
Right.
But there are things that we can do here today, get things under better control so that we're controlling your pain, and the pain isn't controlling your life.
Oh,
and it's going to come back. And when it does, we're here for you. We'll get it back under control. But yes, that is, you have to come to terms with the fact that it's probably going to come back, but we got it under control before, and we'll get it under control again.
So tell me about some of the treatments. And also, is the pain the treatment the same for the neck versus the back? Or are there different treatments for...
Well, the same basic principles apply, but there are different issues in the neck in different areas where we are successful in the neck versus the back, and vice versa. I think I said earlier that not all neck and back pain was created equal. You may have neck pain coming from a strained muscle, in which case where the bones and the joints and the discs are normal, and the treatment is going to head us in one direction. That same neck pain, as the patient feels it, may be coming from an area called the facet joints, which is at every level in the spine. The bone above sits in a groove of the bone below and rocks back and forth.
Yes.
That joint is called a facet joint. There's one on the right and one on the left at every level in the spine. And when that's the source of your pain, you're going to have treatment that goes in another direction. You may have a herniated disc that's pinching a nerve, in which case our treatment is going to go in a third direction. And that's why I say not all pain is created equal. That same principle applies to the neck and the back. But oftentimes patients will come in, and if I ask them, tell me where it hurts, and their answer will be the diagnosis, not describing what they feel and where they feel it. So they think they've come in with the answer, and maybe it's been a long-standing problem, and they're right. But I can't validate that, and I can't feel confident in knowing exactly where their pain is coming from if they're not telling me, let's break it down. Where do you feel it? Is it constant? How does it feel? Is it aching? Is it burning? Is it sharp? Does it radiate down the leg? Does it just feel it across the back or across the neck? Are you having headaches and things like that? So if we get down to that level of description, then we can move on to the actual diagnosis. We can get the kind of studies that we need to sort out what the root of the problem is, and then we can treat it, and we'll be much more successful.
That is absolutely wonderful. So I'd just like to take a minute. I'd like to thank All County Healthcare for sponsoring this show, You and Your Doctor, Living a Longer and Healthier Life. We have professionals here, experts in the field, that help educate you, being able to give you insight and education so that you can make the critical choices that are so important to you. If you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, please give Dr. Gary Richman a call. What telephone number can they reach you at?
Our number is area code 561-967-6500, regardless of which office you would like to be seen at, we go through a single switchboard, and
that's great.
We can take care of you. Any of our offices, whatever your needs are, whatever the subspecialty within orthopedics or pain management, 561-967-6500.
Oh, super, super. That's wonderful. So, and tonight, if you have any questions, please give us a call at 888-565-1470. And also, you can find us streaming live on Facebook page, All County Healthcare. And that telephone number is 888-717-7170. Just ask for Maddie. She would love to answer any questions that you might have. So let's continue the conversation, because this is just so important, because I do find that, as we start aging, and we get the aches and the pains, the body isn't quite as strong as it used to be. I just noticed with myself, if I'm not working out at least twice a week, my muscles start atrophying. And I'm like, wait a minute,
Right.
I don't want to say it's a constant fight, but it is something that is absolutely essential to your well-being. And so all of our listeners out there, I want to make sure you start exercising, start eating properly, watch the alcohol consumption, really start taking good care of yourself. Okay.
A lot of people have lived a relatively sedentary life.
Oh, yeah.
We get caught up in our jobs, in our work. We say, I'll get to it later, don't get to it. And the next thing you know, we reach a point where joints start to have wear and tear. The discs in our spine at all levels start to show the signs of wear and tear. And once that gets started, it's even more important to remain active, to stretch and strengthen, and not just sit and be a couch potato.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, that's it.
That's their
Exercising,
existence.
exercising is foreign, and you don't have to be lifting weights and become muscle bound. It's stretching, it's strengthening, it's yoga, it's Pilates. One of the great exercises, especially as we get older, just walking in a swimming pool. The buoyancy of the water takes pressure off of the discs in your lower back.
That's a great idea. Yes.
And walking through the water
Yes.
there's resistance as
Right.
you walk, and you're using the core muscles of your abdomen. You're using your leg muscles. You don't have to be at an expensive gym, and you don't have to be, self-conscious that, I've never really been a gym goer. We've got to stay active.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that I tell my clients is that, just take a chair with arms, and all I want you to do is sit down and get up, and sit down and get up, and sit down and get up, and don't use the arms unless you absolutely have to. But I want you to do that at least 15 times, and then I want you to rest, and then do it one more time. Because it's, that's one of the most important things that we need in our life, the ability of being able to get up off of a chair.
That's actually one of the things, as I'm sitting in an exam room and I'm meeting a patient for the first time, or even if it's a follow-up patient, and I'm wondering, how are they doing? Are they sugarcoating how they've been feeling? Is to see how they get in and out of a chair.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This,
yeah.
if you're getting
Not
out
good.
with your arms, then you're not, your legs, your back, not doing as well as you wanted.
Exactly.
Right.
It's all in the action, You just take a look at them and go, oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, honey. Yes.
I'm noticing things as the patient is being walked down the hall into the exam room by my nurse. It starts right there. And my nurse is noticing it as well.
Yes. Yeah, because it really is evident.
Are you heel-toe walking? Are you shuffling? Are you wobbling a little? Did you stop for a minute and touch the wall and then keep going? All of those things.
Wow. What are some of the other signs that you look for with somebody dealing with back issues or neck issues or pain?
Sure. A lot of it is we're looking for what we call neurologic deficits. Is someone dropping things, basic objects in area? Are you dropping a fork, a spoon, a glass? Is it hard to hold on to? It gives us an indication that things are getting worse in the neck and as far as potential long-term damage to the nerves. Are you stumbling? Do you catch your toe as you walk? You may be developing what's called a drop foot.
Oh, gotcha.
People don't like to talk about it much, but are you having sexual dysfunction, erectile dysfunction in men? They don't want to talk about it. Are you having difficulties with bladder and bowel bladder and bowel control? I mean, these are all things that might be an indication that we have a more serious problem on our hands that has gotten worse and advanced, and we've got to look into it.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff needs to be easy to talk about and out on the open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And watch denial. Okay? The Nile is not a river in Egypt.
That's right.
Yes. Do not play that game with yourself. If you are dealing with any kind of pain issue, please, even if it's not Dr. Richman, please get to your doctor. Give them a call. Don't allow yourself to go, a month or 2 months with this pain and not try to figure out what's happening, because it's just not worth it. The longer that you wait, the longer it's going to take for it to heal, or you to be able to deal with that.
That's right. You may wait until the point where it's much more difficult for us to treat and get under control.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Suffering is not a rite of passage, and I'm not as old as I used. I'm not as young as I used to be. Is never the diagnosis.
No, and that's no excuse.
No,
never an excuse. So
never.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Dr. Richman, for
It's my
being
pleasure.
here with us, for helping to educate the audience, and it's been wonderful. I mean, I'm really glad to hear. There were a couple of things also. On the pain medication, some people are afraid that they might become addicted to the pain medication, but in my understanding or knowledge of it, as if I'm the expert. You're the expert. Sorry. But if it takes away the pain and allows you to feel happy and some level of joy, then continue taking the pain meds.
Yeah. You know what? There's a difference between becoming physically dependent on meds or becoming addicted. Addiction is a personality trait. It's something that overtakes your life, whereas becoming dependent on a medication is something that all of us it can happen to all of us, and you deal with it. But our goal is to improve your quality of life, and sometimes taking pain medications is what you need to do. But you need to do it in a controlled way with a professional involved in prescribing, monitoring, and that's what we do.
Thank you so much. You have been a delight,
Thank you.
and it's been very exciting to have you on the show.
Great.
And again, give your telephone number where they can reach you.
Fantastic. Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County. Our phone number is 561-967-6500.
Okay.
And we're located in Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, and Wellington.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I just have a few more seconds here. And what I wanted to do was go back and emphasize, because, there's so many people that are so afraid. I'll say that somebody who's dealing with the chronic pain and they're taking the painkillers.
Yes.
Okay. Those individuals know that that's essential. But what I hear also is that there's times where the children or the relatives get very, very nervous that their loved ones are on the pain medication and fear. Because you hear so much about the OxyContins and Vicodins and there's a whole host out there.
Sometimes narcotic pain medications do end up becoming a necessity in treating someone's pain and getting it under control. If the medication is improving their quality of life, then it's a path that I'm willing to continue heading down with the patient. If it is becoming yet another problem in their life, not all pain needs to be treated with narcotics. If you look at the source of whether it's muscle relaxants, anti-inflammatories, centrally acting pain medications, narcotic pain medications, extended release, immediate release, there's a lot of stuff out there, and oftentimes the best treatment plan is a combination called multimodal therapy. So oftentimes families and patients need to be educated on what our rationale is behind what we prescribe, why we're doing it. Is their loved one taking it responsibly? Is the patient educated on what to take, how to take it? Take it because you need it. Don't take it because it's time on your watch. Oh, it's my dosing time. Those are the things we have to focus on.
Well, one of the things, though, that I've been told as well is that if you do have chronic pain and you are on specific medication for that, you don't wait till the very end and then take another one. I was kind of told that take it at the designated times because you don't want it to wear off and then you have to wait another 20 minutes or half hour for it to kick in again.
That's true. I wouldn't wait until you are writhing in pain. But if we give a medication that, let's say, starts to take effect in 20 to 30 minutes, it peaks in 20 to 30 minutes, and it can last you 4 hours, 6 hours, depends on how much your pain is. If you can take something up to 4 times a day, let's say, but you're having a good day and you really only needed it 3 times, if you're looking at the clock and saying, it's time for my breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bedtime doses, you don't know whether you're having a better day or a worse day. Don't wait until you're writhing in pain.
Okay.
You've got to learn
That's
your
great
symptom.
information.
You got to learn your body and talk to your doctor about that because sometimes it's 4 hours later that you're going to take it. Sometimes it's 6 hours later. And that gives us an indication of how well you've been doing, what your needs have been.
Wow, that's such powerful information. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have you here because you've just opened up a whole new level of understanding and knowledge, especially when it comes to the narcotics, to the pain management, and that's what this show is all about.
There's a stigma associated. Yeah, there's a stigma associated with filling the prescription, requiring it, having people know that you require these medications, but you've got to communicate with your doctor.
Yeah,
you've got to take it responsibly, and it can improve the quality of your life. It can also destroy it if you don't take them properly.
Yes. Well, thank you again. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
And we're going to go on a commercial right now, so stay tuned. We've got another great doctor just waiting to come on and help educate you and inform you as well. So don't go away.
All County Healthcare, Inc. is locally owned and operated, serving the Tri-County area, Palm Beach, Dade, and Broward counties for the last 25 years. The practice of medicine is changing dramatically. All County Healthcare, Inc. still does it the old-fashioned way, where our nurses and healthcare professionals come into your home to service your medical needs, providing you the fastest and best care possible. For more information, call 954-717-7027. And remember, Medicare Home Care is covered by Part A of Medicare with no out-of-pocket cost to you. It's your decision and only your decision on what healthcare agency you use. Call today. All County Home Health Care, Inc. at 954-717-7027. License 200999096.
Hi, I'm Deanna Barron, RN, with All County Healthcare. You know how I know that I've done a good job? We say goodbye. After you understand the medications you take, once you know that gaining 2 pounds in a day means you should call the doctor, when your wound is healed, when you can use your nebulizer all by yourself, when the goals that you and your All County Healthcare team of nurses, therapists, and aides established are met. We say goodbye. Very nice to meet you, and I hope I never see you again. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask, but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
And we're back. Hi, I'm Lorena Anderson, your life and energy coach. And I want to let you know that this is being produced by AMP2 TV and proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where patients are the heart of their business. We're also streaming live on the fan page of All County Healthcare. So I want to say hi to all of our listeners there. If you have any questions about All County Healthcare and their superb ability of being able to provide the healthcare that's necessary for after hospital care, just give them a call at 888 717-7170. Ask for Maddie. She would love to hear from you. Also, you can find us live on www.nnradio.com. Just hit the button for live stream, and you'll see us there as well. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that if you've missed any of our other shows, You and Your Doctor, Living a Longer and Healthier Life, if you've missed any of those shows, you can go to allcountyhealthcare.com. We have them archived there. So you have a variety of various doctors and professionals that have done interviews on the show, and you can get some of your questions answered as well. We've got some really exciting news as well. You know, we're not only on 1470 AM, and this is all live, but we are also, it's very exciting, we're on 95.3 FM. So I'm so excited to welcome our FM listeners. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 888-565-1470. We would love to hear from you. And if you missed tonight's show, you can also go, it's being replayed on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. So if you didn't get a chance to be with us tonight, please just listen to us 95.3 FM at 11 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. on Tuesdays. So without any further ado, I would love to introduce our next doctor. He happens to be a plastic surgeon. So, Dr. Steiger?
Yes, that's me.
It is wonderful to have you here.
It's
Welcome.
lovely to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I can tell you're doing some wonderful anti-aging. You look great.
You know, you have to practice what you preach to some degree.
Absolutely, absolutely. So welcome. Tell me when you got into business, what your passion, what made you decide to go into plastics?
Well, you know, that's an interesting question. I think, well, first of all, I grew up in South Florida, so I'm born and raised in South Florida.
Oh, my God, a native. Oh, that's unusual.
Not too many of us.
I
Now
know.
you see it more often, but, you know, in my age group, it's not that common. So I was born and raised. I actually went to med school, University of Miami, and I did a more accelerated program, a 6-year medical program. And so I finished kind of early. So I do get that I look younger than my age.
Yes.
You know, so that's good. So it's good for business, I suppose. But then I went up to Philadelphia, did some training at University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Michigan and worked at the University of Michigan for a little bit as well.
Oh, so you started in the South, in the warmth.
Worked my way up. Yeah.
And then you went into Pennsylvania, and then also into Michigan.
Exactly.
Oh, how'd you like the cold?
Well, you know, when I moved to Philadelphia, I thought it was pretty cold for the first year, and then I was able to handle it. So I thought, well, I can handle the cold. I'll move to Michigan. Well, Michigan was a whole different ball game.
Oh my God!
So
Yes.
nice people, and you know why? Because they have to be. They put up with a lot. But
well, I'm from Chicago, so
I
know it very well. I already said that I'm cold traumatized.
Exactly.
I cannot stay in that state in the winter longer than 1 week.
Well, but you become kind of spoiled here now. What happens is when you're up north long enough, your skin gets thicker, and you can wear a T-shirt and jeans when it's 40 degrees out. Now it's 40 degrees. We got our fur coats on and our boots and all that.
It's 60 degrees down here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
But yeah. So you asked why do I do what I do? Well, first of all, I'm a facial plastic surgeon, so I specialize in just face and neck. So facelifts, nose jobs, eyelid surgery. That's my bread and butter.
Okay.
From surgical to non-surgical. So we do, in addition to facelifts, we do injections and the Botox and the fillers. We've all heard of the Juvederm and the Restylane, etc. So, and the question is why do I do what I do? So it started off in the first decision you make when you're in medical school. Are you a surgeon or are you a medical doctor, basically? It's kind of a dichotomy. I mean, there's two different kind of people do those specialties. So I always wanted to be a surgeon. Day one, I said, I'm going to be a surgeon. And I first wanted to be a heart surgeon. And then I wanted to be a brain surgeon.
Well, all righty then.
And then, you know, one day we were on rotations and I saw, you know, a cleft lip actually repair, and it just clicked. I said, this is what I was born to do.
Wow.
And it's like everything. I've always been very artistic. I've always been into sculpture ever since I was probably in like a little kid, and then in high school, and then in college, and I never even put the two and two together. And then one day I'm in the operating room, you know, 10 years later, and And I'm like, gosh, wait a second, this makes perfect sense.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that's kind of how it came about, and I've never looked back. And I love what I do. I
That's-
wake up, 5 a.m. every morning, excited to go to work. And I just got back from work, I can go for another few hours.
Oh, goodness.
So
This is kind of like a break for you at this moment, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
A half-an-hour break.
Half-hour break. I'm going right back. No, I'm done for the night.
Oh, okay, good, good.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. I understand.
Yeah, so that's pretty basically it, and yeah, so it's fun.
So, and from what I understand, that's where the word plastic came from. It came from a Latin word meaning to mold.
Exactly.
Mold
It's
and
funny.
form.
Every day I get that question. It's like, doctor, why plastic? Are you putting something plastic in my nose? So I have to explain. Well, rhino and plasty. So rhinoplasty. Rhino means nose, and plasty means to change the shape of. So. Or to mold. So
to mold,
plasty or
yes,
plastic
yes.
is to mold or to shape. So no, we don't use plastic. Actually, that's pretty much frowned upon these days. But certainly we mold faces and bodies.
Yeah, excellent. I love it. So, what you said that the face is your specialty,
Right, face and neck. I don't do
Face
any
and
body
neck.
work.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay. So, in doing the face and the neck, what do you usually see? Is it just facelifts, or do you do reconstruction? Do you?
Well, my practice is mainly now focused on cosmetic surgery of the face and neck. So, common procedure today, I did 2 facelift surgeries with eyelid surgery, two different patients, facelift and eyelid surgery. For example, tomorrow I have a few nose jobs. So basically facelifts, eyelid surgery, rhinoplasty or nose jobs, ear pinnings. Every day we do the Botox and the injections. The beauty today of facial plastic surgery or plastic surgery in general is it's not just about nip and tuck, okay? We have other modalities. We're also filling, as we know. Sometimes people are filled too much, and that's a bad thing, just like if they're nip and tucked too much.
Yes.
So we have so many tools available, from lasers to all kinds of energy-based devices, ultrasound, injection materials, Botox, all these things that are in surgery, obviously, but these are all at our disposal, and we have this big, I call it my toolbox, and I can choose what in the toolbox I need to achieve someone's goals, and those goals may be about they can only have so much downtime because they work and so they want to get some kind of results, maybe not the ideal result, maybe they need surgery, but they want to get away with, for example, nose jobs. A lot of people might want a rhinoplasty, but you can kind of give what's called a chemical nose job using fillers and injections and give them an idea of what their nose would look like, or if they don't have
very
time
interesting.
to do the surgery. So a lot of people, I've done that too, and they love it so much, and they say, okay, well, it doesn't last with the injection, so now I want to have my nose job when I have more time to do it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's awesome. It's just a great time to do what I do, and it's a great time to be patients in this day and age.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I always kind of like laugh because I happen to be a little older.
You don't look it. Not one bit.
Really?
No.
Thank you.
And I've never seen you in my office, so I got to get your secret after.
Okay.
The diet.
Yeah, and the exercise
And
too.
the exercise.
Yes, absolutely. And I just feel so young. And that's what's so amazing is that, I am older. I'm 61.
Okay.
So, but I feel like I'm 42. And what's so nice about, the injectables is that, first of all, they're safe. Okay, for the longest period of time, they weren't sure whether or not these things were safe. Is a Botox safe?
Right.
But it's all proven out to be safe. But you get to look your age, how you feel.
Right.
And that's what's so exciting about it.
Right. Well,
I'm just totally alive and
well, that's
full
what
of energy.
I hear that every day, whether it be a facelift surgery or the Botox or the injections.
Yeah.
People say, I look in the mirror, I feel great, but I'm like, who is that? I don't look the way I feel.
Yes.
So that's probably the most common thing I see on a daily basis in the office is women and men telling me that. And so that's the beauty of it is we have things available to kind of make us look as good as we feel. And we're working out, we're exercising, and sometimes it just doesn't fit. What you see just doesn't fit to the whole picture. So again, these are things that I do on a daily basis.
That's fabulous. And the other thing too that I find, it's not gender orientated
Absolutely.
or age orientated. I mean, I'm familiar with a couple of ladies that are 95 years old and going in for their Botox and their filler.
Absolutely.
And they're just so full of life and they're so happy and they're looking good. And,
I call it, people say, oh, it's vanity. It's not vanity. I call it dignity.
Oh,
It's
I
not,
like that.
it's true. It's not
Yes.
vanity, it's dignity. We're alive, we feel good, we want to look good.
Yes.
Whether it be, having less wrinkles or having makeup on or having nice clothes on, you want to feel good. You want to, so it's not just about, it's not vain, it's just, you're proud.
And it's your self-image. And when you look good,
Right.
your self-esteem and your self-confidence is built up as well.
Absolutely. And we see that from all ages. We see that in young kids. I see the 17-year-old girl who has her nose job.
Mm-hmm.
And before she came in for surgery, her head was kind of down. She was kind of shy and quiet.
yeah.
You come in, I saw a girl a year after her nose job. I mean, it was like a different person yesterday. It was like she was chatty and she was smiling.
I
and
love
and it's such a
that.
beautiful transformation. And then
It
you have
is.
older patients who, sometimes we talked about men and women, but sometimes the man and the women come together, and then when they come in after a phase of 6 months later, you look at the woman, you look at the man, you're like, wow, they look so much. At first, they looked like they were so close in age. Now they look such a dichotomy.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, men will then want to do their neck or
Men
or
are.
wanna-
I mean, it's a big trend now,
Right.
and especially for men that are 50 and over, because what ends up happening is that they have to compete in the workplace,
Right.
And they don't feel their best
and,
if they're
and
not
in the
looking.
dating pool.
And yes, absolutely, that's true too.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So the biggest growth rate now, this growth segment within plastic surgery, is men. It used to be about 15% of patients were men.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually probably closer to 25 now. So so it's pretty amazing that men are seeing the benefits. And what's made plastic surgery so much more or less taboo and more popular today is people realize that they can do things without big surgeries or with surgery, but they know they can look very natural.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Good plastic surgery, someone looks like themselves, just a better version or a more younger version or a more enhanced.
A fresh virgin.
Exactly. And that's what,
Virgin.
Right.
Virgin, yeah, there you go.
But again, and that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. So I just want to take this moment out and say thank you, All County Healthcare, for sponsoring the shows that you've been putting on. It is so wonderful to have these professional experts on our show, helping us become more better informed, more educated, so that we know where we might need to go in order to get healthy or feel healthy or look healthy. So how do they get a hold of you, Dr. Siger?
The easiest way to see or reach me is go to my website. It's www.dr.Steiger, STEIGER.com. And you can get everything you need to know about what I do is on there and about just facial plastic surgery in general.
Okay. Telephone number?
561-499-9339.
Excellent. And where are you located?
We are in the heart of Boca Raton, downtown Boca, right by Meisner Park on pretty much Federal and Glades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful area over there.
Love it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. What other things do you end up seeing? Are you doing any more of the reconstruction?
We do some reconstruction.
You
patient-
said, the cleft palate.
Cleft
Really?
lip. Cleft lip and cleft palate. We don't cleft palate. We don't. I don't do any more much. That's a very much of a team approach. You have to be in an environment where you have a oral speech pathologist, a dentist. Oftentimes, where orthodontists are involved, plastic surgeons, pediatricians, ear, nose, and throat doctors, and they kind of come together for a multidisciplinary approach. One person out in the community doing it on their own is probably doing a disservice, but having that team approach is definitely the right way to go. So there are places around here that that people go to, or that are multidisciplinary environments for that. As far as going abroad on missions and stuff, that certainly we do, and I'm involved.
Do you really?
Yeah. So,
expound about that, please.
well,
Tell us about
we're
that.
actually, so this is kind of to be announced in the future. We're looking to set up a foundation here in Boca to help raise money for missions abroad in other parts of the country, in Asia, South America, to help children who are born with cleft deformities, and we do missions. We take other doctors from all around the country, go and provide care.
Boy, I love that.
And it's not just about providing care to the patients; it's also the other physicians that are there, teaching them techniques and all kinds of newer things that we're doing to help patients. For example, in Asia, a lot of patients might have deformities of their nose or from accidents, and it can be quite humiliating for them. So doing the surgery, but also teaching the physicians there how to take care of the patients, how to do the surgeries in the future, and so you're leaving an impact in the area, not just going in quickly and leaving, but a little bit more than that.
That is absolutely wonderful. Well, that something I just love to hear about that because I'm a big believer in giving back to the community.
Absolutely.
And I commend you for that. That is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
When do you see that coming about?
In the next year, that's the goal in 2017. So the plate gets full fast, and we've been talking about this for quite some time. And it's, I think, go time. So that's exciting. I probably a little premature, but that's what's coming forward.
Yeah. Listen,
and I'm very excited about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's fabulous. Because it gives you a whole new dimension,
Right.
and you get to really make such an impact
Right.
on the children that need this so badly.
Right.
And I think that's just absolutely wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Cool for you. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell us again, how do we get a hold of you?
Okay, so the best way to get a hold of me again is my website, www.drsteiger.com, DRSTEIGER.
Slower.
www.drsteiger, DRSTEIGER.com,
Okay.
or my phone number is 561-499-9339.
Excellent. And he's located over near Meisner Park. So I'm how long have you been over there?
We've been in that location. So I started out in Delray, and then we moved to Boca about 5, going on the 6th year now. We have a freestanding, amazing facility. It's built from the ground up just for our purposes, just for facial plastic surgery. So we do our surgeries there. We do see our patients there. It's a very private environment, private exit, private entrances. So it's been amazing.
That is excellent. And that was one of my questions too, whether or not you do your work out of a hospital or if you have the ability of being all inclusive.
So we do both. So I do work out of a hospital. I have privileges at 2 hospitals in the area, but certainly most of the cosmetic procedures we do in our own operating room. We have a fully accredited facility, and it's amazing.
That's great. Well, it is a pleasure to have you here this evening because I know how busy you are. But thank you so much for taking time out, for being here, helping to educate us, and giving us the ability of a different a level of youthfulness, through your injectables, through, I imagine you do the mini facelifts, you do the regular facelifts.
Right. Well, the new techniques in facelifts, so facelifts have evolved significantly as far as the techniques that we do. So the newest techniques in facelift surgery are aimed at treating the problem at the cause, meaning what causes us to age. And as we age, our ligaments sag, our muscles sag, the skin sags. But in the new facelifts, the newest techniques, we actually go deeper into the muscles and lift those ligaments back to their more youthful position, which gives some of the most natural and most effective results.
Wow. Well, that is interesting. I love that knowledge. That is awesome. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And you can find us here, you and your doctor, living a longer and healthier life. You can find us here every Tuesday evening between the hours of 6 and 7. We're streaming live. We're on 1470 AM and 95.3 FM. We're also airing this again on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. You also can find us on YouTube. Just look for us there. And All County Healthcare, I got that,
right.
allcountyhealthcare.com. All these shows will be archived on there, and you're more than free to visit any one of them. So thank you again for joining us. It's a pleasure, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for letting us share with you a longer and healthier lifestyle. If you have a doctor or are a doctor and wish to be on the show, call AMP2 TV at 866-244-5422, and we will put you on the air as soon as possible. Tune in next week for more information on living longer and having a healthier life. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.